Passionate, driven, enthusiastic, euphoric. This is who we are as entrepreneurs. But how we leverage these incredible attributes to dream and build businesses that scale and grow is what this podcast is all about. Hello, I'm attorneypreneur Josh Brown, and welcome to Franchise Euphoria. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Franchise Euphoria, the podcast where we are focused on providing strategy, education, and consulting to the incredible and growing franchise community. Welcome, everyone. Josh Brown here. Hope everyone is doing fan-freaking-tastic.
Hello, everyone. Dee here. Lots of exciting things coming up in today's episode of Franchise Euphoria. Josh gives you the inside scoop on the number one way to succeed with your franchise. I'll be introducing a new segment to the show, Blog Central. But up first, Josh goes in depth on why you should consider franchising for your business. Hope you enjoy.
4 main reasons why you should consider franchising your business. First and foremost, what a great way to expand your reach. I mean, so many people start a business, and while it's challenging enough to get one business up and going, people have big dreams. And if you have a good enough idea, a good enough concept, you want to look at how you can fully capitalize on that concept. Franchising your business is a great way to expand your reach, not only within your local community, but beyond that and beyond the borders of your state and even elsewhere if you'd like. Number 2, you can grow with other people's capital or through the use of other people's capital. This is such an important part of franchising. When you run and grow a business, the thought of expanding to another location or expanding your business always brings about money issues. And so one of the beauties of franchising your business is that once you have everything set up, once you've gone through the process of setting up the franchise and complying with the various regulations of the state that you're in and with the regulations of federal law and making sure you have your operating manual done and your marketing and your franchise agreements, and you've got all your I's and T's, your I's dotted and your T's crossed. I think the beauty of expanding through franchising is that now you get to bring in other people's money via franchisees. And so now they're essentially paying for the expansion of your brand. I think many people know that, but many people really gloss over that. I mean, just stop if you're listening to this and think about that for a second. How incredible is that you can use somebody else's money and capital to now grow your business, and they're not your employee, okay? And they're investing in the brand to grow it, and what a great way to do that. Number 3, you grow with a limited size of your operation. What I mean by that is a lot of brands that expand and don't do it under the franchise model. As an example, Starbucks or something like that, obviously that's a huge brand, but they have managers running all of their locations. They have their employees running all their locations. And that just increases the size of the operation. It increases the risks. It increases the exposure of the company. It provides all sorts of liability issues. And it's just that much more that you have to control. So part of the beauty of franchising your business, or at least something to think about, is that really you can form a core group of people focused in different areas of the franchise. For instance, you can form a part of your team that's focused on the growth. After you've taken the time and figured out how you want to expand this thing, you should have a person or a team in charge of focusing on that growth. But then you go out and hire or not even hire, you go out and bring in the franchisees, and now they go and hire people that are their employees, but not yours. So you can do it with a core group of people. You're limiting the size of your operation, which lessens the managerial headaches, I guess, that you might have. And it really kind of allows you to grow in a systemized, organized way with a limited size operation. Fourth, but certainly not the least important, and perhaps the most important reason that you should consider franchising your business is, what a great way to force you to systemize your business, to actually take everything that's in your head and put it down on paper in an operations manual, in the form of a marketing blueprint as to how you want to market your brand, what you want to be thinking about as you expand your brand. You know, as Michael Gerber likes to say through the E-Myth Revisited, and I think it's so true, even if you're not going or you're unsure about the franchise model, you as a business owner should always be thinking about, how can I operate my business as if I was going to repeat it 5,000 times over? In other words, if I was going to try to be the next McDonald's, if I was going to try to be the next sizable franchise, it really forces you to take a look at your own systems, your own processes. And there is no better way, in my opinion, to trim off the fat and to get really, really honed in on what your core is all about. What are your core processes? What are your core systems? What is your business really all about? And get rid of everything else. That in and of itself is worth considering for the franchise model, because plain and simply, you have to do that in order to successfully franchise. Now, there's a lot of franchises out there that don't do that. There's a lot of franchises out there that they get drawn to, or they get lured in at the idea of, I can expand really quickly and get a lot of money coming in via franchise fees and some royalties. And they don't take the time to put in place the proper systems and processes. And those are always the franchises that end up failing or end up in serious financial issues, because they're always chasing their tail, because they can never grow fast enough. And I've seen a lot of systems that have grown too fast. They've gotten ahead of themselves too far. And now they have to go land the next franchisee in order to even make payroll. You know, they have to have that money coming in so that they can pay this large operator. That's a terrible way to expand your business. So every good franchise has their core systems, their core processes down pat. And what a great thing to have, even if you don't actually franchise your business. So those are the 4 tips for today on why you should franchise your business or consider franchising your business. But I think the bigger picture, as I've kind of highlighted and focused on the last one, is it doesn't matter if you are actually going to focus your business. If you implement franchise-like systems for your business, you have a significantly greater chance of being successful, of being profitable, and of truly understanding what you and your business stand for.
As always, some really great insight from Josh. I hope it's really got you thinking about whether the franchise model might be the right model to start expanding your business in. All right, so as promised, a new segment. Today in Blog Central, I want to share with you a blog from Stephanie Maris. She's an associate attorney in Josh's law office. This topic may be a little bit controversial, so be sure to hop on over to indiefranchiselaw.com and let me know how you feel about it. So, the question today in Stephanie's blog is whether employers should allow their employees to participate in fantasy football. Here's what Stephanie had to say. September is finally here, and that means pumpkin spice flavored everything, sweatshirt weather, and most importantly, football season. The 2015 NFL season kickoff is just a little over a week away, and millions of people are scouting players and preparing for their upcoming fantasy football league drafts. Some people may even spend some of their workday researching players and once the season starts, adjusting their lineups and making trades ahead of the week's games. Many employers believe fantasy football causes their employees to be unproductive, and they feel as if they cannot afford for their employees to be distracted by fantasy football for 17 weeks out of the year, especially if they're a small business or a franchise. However, implementing an outright ban on employees participating in fantasy football leagues could be a detriment to employee morale and lead to some employees trying to work around the policy, forcing managers to spend more of their time trying to enforce the ban and ultimately causing them to be even less productive. Instead, employers should inform their employees of its expectations and policies regarding fantasy football in the workplace, reiterate that employees are still expected to adequately and sufficiently fulfill their duties, and outline the process that will be followed if employees are not meeting those expectations or violate the policy. Allowing employees to participate in fantasy football can provide many benefits to the workplace, such as camaraderie, company pride, increased communication, and an opportunity for employees to recharge during the workday. It's possible for employees to adequately fulfill their duties, complete their work, and engage in fantasy football activities with their coworkers and friends. However, there is no right answer to the issue of fantasy football in the workplace, and only you can assess what policy makes the most sense for your business or franchise. So, what do you think? Should you allow employees to participate in fantasy football? Head on over to indiefranchiselaw.com/blog and leave a comment. While you're there, check out some of Stephanie's other blogs. Up next, Josh explains the number one way to succeed and gives you 4 simple and immediate things you can do to make it happen.
We often talk about how complicated franchises are, and they are. I mean, they are fraught with risk and uncertainty, and they require a lot of capital, a lot of time, and a lot of strategy. But most of all, if not all of these things, can be overcome if you create raving fans for your business. Plain and simply, raving customers drive the bottom line. Today, we're going to talk about 4 ways you can immediately do this for your business. Number 1, know your target market. People think knowing your target market is all about just the marketing side of the business. But no, I mean, it has such a direct correlation to creating raving customers, people who really care about your brand. Because if you're able to clearly identify who these people are, you can target them in a specific way and you can understand their likes, needs, desires. I mean, this is really the baseline. It's the foundation that must be set for you to understand your customers. Without this, you will not understand your customers' desires, needs, wants, and fears. Understanding these things is key to discovering your secret sauce as a business. Number 2, you must be extraordinary. I mean, this may sound a little harsh, but average is for losers, at least in the business world. Most businesses, however, are average, and most businesses struggle to maintain profitability. Think in extraordinary ways, and extraordinary things will happen with your business. For starters, think of one thing that you can do this week to go above and beyond for a customer. If you know your customers, it should be easy for you to do this. If it isn't and you're struggling with this, then try to better understand the needs of your customers and then revisit this at a later date. Number 3, pay attention to the details. We've all seen businesses that just get it. You know, the ones where every detail is accounted for and nothing is overlooked. These are the businesses that are one step ahead of their customers. It's as if they are inside your head with a full understanding of what you are thinking and when you are thinking it. These things really matter. In an overcrowded marketplace, paying attention to details makes you memorable, makes you different, makes you special, and in turn makes people talk about you and their experiences with your business. Number 4, ask for feedback and act on feedback. For many, asking for feedback is scary because it can expose you. It is scary to really know what others think of you, but it is vital to plugging holes in your business and in creating raving fans. But equally as important is acting on the feedback. Acting on feedback shows that you really care and you're not just paying lip service. It shows that you are listening, that you value customer input. Not only is this really smart business, but it makes you memorable and gives you more opportunities to engage with your customers. If you do just these 4 things, you will create raving fans, guaranteed. Heck, if you just do one of these things, you will likely create raving fans. Do all 4, and you will notice a big, big difference in your relationship with your customers. The holy grail in business are customers that keep coming back and refer you to other people. The single most effective, efficient, and profitable way to sustain and grow your business is to create raving fans that tell others about your business, and most importantly, about how impressed they are with your business. Separate yourself from the masses by doing what others won't. Treat your customers like the gold that they are. Understand their wants, needs, and desires. And do everything you can to stay in consistent communication with them and ask how you as a business can improve upon the customer experience. Everything else should be secondary to these things. Do these things and you will experience the power of raving fans for your business. Hopefully this was helpful for you today. If you are in the market for a franchise, I would highly encourage you to check out my free ebook, which is What to Know Before You Buy a Franchise. You can head over to my website at that's INDY, franchiselaw.com, and download it there for free. And let me know what you think. If you're enjoying this podcast, if you're enjoying the value that you're getting from this podcast, I'd also invite you to go to iTunes and provide me with a rating and review. It always helps for visibility on the podcast. So thank you so much for your support, and hope this episode was helpful to you.
Thanks for being with us today on the Franchise Euphoria podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to go to iTunes and provide a review. Also, please remember that although Josh Brown is a licensed and practicing attorney, nothing contained in this podcast should be construed as legal advice, because it is not. The information contained in this podcast is general and educational in nature, and none of it should be relied upon as legal advice. That being said, if you have questions for Josh and would like to contact him, please email him at josh@franchiseeuphoria.com. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you tune in to our next weekly episode.